jump in and see what happens. As we have to the top left-hand side, our blue Terran player, Special. And to the bottom right-hand side, our red Protoss player, we have Dia. So, already sending a probe across the map. That's a pretty fast scout, isn't it? It's a darn quick scout, that's what we call that. Just coming in after the pylon. It gets across really, really quickly. And, well, Special going to try and play that little bit of a mind game where he's building his racks. Not proxied, but also not in his main base. It's close enough that's that floated back to the main. Doesn't really have too much of an impact with his overall build. It kind of lines up quite nicely anyways by the time you need the barracks to build a tech lab or so. So he's going to get a Reaper floated back into the main. And obviously double gas means he's going to be going into a factory as well from here. As this probe obviously sees this. Now, Dia doesn't know how aggressive this is, so he might have to build a Zealot right away. And by building a Zealot right away, this has some really cool potential. So obviously just slows down Dia a little bit, kind of forces him into units which he doesn't need. Now, if the Reaper was proxied, the Zealot is very necessary, but in this case, the Zealot really isn't needed at all. We have seen Protoss players starting to use that Zealot to go across the map with a Stalker or an Adept and to apply a lot of pressure. And there's that pylon block to stop this full wall off coming on down here. Pylon will cancel, so again, all you wanted to do was to stop this wall off for a moment or so. As this SCV is going to pull away, man. This depot is not being allowed to finish. Oh, it pulls away again. Okay, now the Reaper's here. The probe will go down. Oh, nearly gets the SCV, man. That was insane. Dia just being so annoying with that first probe. As the depot does finish in the factory again. Now on the way up, about halfway done at the moment. Zealot coming across and is going to be able to dodge for the moment. Coming across over to the left-hand side. So the Reaper doesn't see that. Probe just coming down, getting ready for the natural expansion. There's an Adept out, Stalker being chronoed, and a Warp Gate upgrade on the Cyber Core. We actually built a second Reaper here, but he'll need those to kind of come in and, well, deal with the Zealot and so on, because that's going to be a bit of a frustration, although CC on the high ground, I guess it's not going to be that bad. It's just going to be some damage onto the supply depot, as the first Reaper is going to pull back. I think the second Reaper is going to go back home right now as well. Again, a couple of SCVs, they want to come in to repair this, but it's going to be kind of costly. He probably doesn't want to actually send in this damaged SCV. That doesn't seem very fun. Going to wait until the last possible moment. There we go. Pulls the damaged SCV back. Obviously makes a lot of sense. Don't want to actually lose SCVs if you can avoid that. Although that SCV went back to repairing when he probably should have backed away. They're just trying to do what they can. Try and go in and out against that Adept. It is not easy at the moment. Cyclone on the way up. Stalker now arriving as well, so some extra damage output. SCVs will be pulled forwards once more. Another nice grenade actually going to boost those away. And I think both of these depots will hold. With the Cyclone about to finish, Special will defend against this gateway-based pressure in the early stages that he kind of invited from Dia by just kind of saying, well, look, my barracks isn't in my main base, you know, build a Zealot. Because as soon as Dia realizes that the Rax isn't proxy, that Zealot goes across the map and this pressure begins. Two Reapers coming all the way down to the south. They're going to hop up and heading towards the main base as well. So Reapers hopping up into the main. Do you see that Oracle coming across here? And you have one probe is going down. Also able to pick off another Reaper as well there. Again, this Cyclone still hanging out in the top left-hand side. All we're going to lift up and move down to the natural as well. Follow up here from Special. Going to be that Cloaked Banshee now. With the Fangs Tech Lab on the factory, he's going to go into siege tanks, and what we have been seeing a lot of is using the Banshees to pull your opponent out of position, while using that out of positionness to then get yourself in towards a good position with the rest of your army. Oracle gets the kill on the Cyclone with the help of those couple of Stalkers. The Cyclone was a little bit out of position here, a little bit too far around that corner. It's a shame he didn't get the Oracle, because the Oracle is very low, and killing that Oracle would have been absolutely fantastic. But not killing the Oracle is obviously a little bit of a shame there. I'm intrigued by the Double Reaper, yeah. Enthusiast points out in the chat, but it is a little bit different. It doesn't really... A second Reaper doesn't add much. We saw Double Reaper for a while when Proxy Racks first was a thing, like about a year ago. I feel in this situation it just delays your racks getting back in the main and helping get units which are really good against those marine units that are pressuring you. Oh no, and at the end of the day, this is still a pretty decent spot for special here. Second Oracle gets made. What has Deer actually seen? He did see the Cloak Banshees on the way up, so having seen that, we see a cancel on the Cloak. So it's just Banshee number 1 into a Liberator. I like it, because now the second Oracle is actually not that useful. Obviously, you still get extra Revelations, etc., but it was built to be able to defend against Cloak Banshees. By, special save some resources here by stopping to commit into them. And those resources are already spent on a second Oracle, when the first one would have done the job anyways. Now Phoenix on the way up as well. Now I'm not going to say the Phoenix are not going to be good, of course they are. But, well, let's see how the fight goes, I guess. Because Phoenix actually kind of are good against these aggressive attacks if they can lift up the tanks without being target fired down too quickly. That's the issue though. There's a lot of Stargate units and no sort of sign of a Robo facility or anything else. So this is kind of just gateway units here. As we have everything gathering up over here. Dep's going to shade on forwards. First tank will siege from a little bit of a distance. I like it. Liberators coming across the map, or must be, or did it just be across the map? I think the Liberators, well, hanging out, hold that fort. This is not good at all because the tanks are out of position from the Marines. So the Marines can't target down the Phoenix. If the Marines can't target down the Phoenix, then the tanks are just never going to come back into play. And you need those tanks. They are a huge part of this. And that's a little bit of a shame. There's that Liberator, which I was talking about. It was not across the map. I was just thinking, where was it? I couldn't see it on the minimap anywhere. So I thought maybe I'd missed it, but no, it just wasn't across or out at that time. SCV's going to pull in. I mean, you can repair that siege tank as much as you like. It's still in the sky, and it's still not coming down anytime soon. I mean, when it comes down, it gets one shot off. Phoenix should just lift again. We did it for a moment or two there, as we see the SCVs will go back to repairing, but SCVs are going down. This isn't really going anywhere. The Liberator will get some damage done, but nowhere near enough to make up for all of this. Surely another tank is, believe it or not, lifted up almost instantly, and it goes down before any SCVs can get there to repair it. And special down on 35, 36 supply is struggling. We'll have to GG out. Good hold by Dia. There we go. Warrior stuff disconnected. Alright, so again, apologies to the players in advance for not being able to do this. We have to the bottom left side, the blue Terran player is special. And of course, in the top right hand side, our red Protoss player is Dia. So again guys, sorry for that. Just gonna have to do this one without game sounds and so on. Hopefully the Korean server stabilizes a bit. Usually when it's going a bit funky, it usually does resolve itself within like 10, 15, 20 minutes. Obviously we just have to wait for those 10, 15, 20 minutes to pass by. So hopefully it gets a little bit better. We'll try it again when this game gets wrapped up, so we'll see how we do. I'm in Australia and Korea still, yeah, but it's something to do with like some sort of connection from Europe and America to Korea, because this happens to me, it happens to Naruto, it happens to Rifkin, Zombie Grub. Even Maynard had some Korean server. Actually, no, even Maynard had some Korean server issues the other day, so it's not always even just Europe and America. Like, it is just the Korean server has really just been really, really funky lately. So, yeah. See a little bit of a spray coming down as we do see the racks. The next is coming down. I just heard some StarCraft noises behind me. Ignore my StarCraft as it probably does some weird things in the background, guys. Nothing I can really do about it. So, a couple of SCVs. Going to be coming in and able to pick up a kill there. Command center go drop down. And we do see an orbital morphing in, finishing up, real dropping. Early game TVP here is obviously a little bit more standard than the last game, although I'd say kind of hiding your racks is almost standard nowadays in TVP anyways. But this is not trying to fake anything. This is not trying to, sell an idea that isn't actually there at all. This is actually just going to be special setting up very nicely. And getting himself into a nice little position to play onwards. So factory coming through. We do see a second refinery coming up in that main base as well. Twilight Council dropping on the other side of the map. Going to give access to this. This is actually interesting, by the way. This was a reactor expand. A Marine into a reactor. He's actually going to still invest into the Reaper. So it just says he doesn't need the Reaper super early, but would still kind of like it to try and investigate what Dia is doing. So probably wants to try and get that going, as we do have on the right side. Oh, there goes my StarCraft, probably disconnecting again. Ay, ay, ay. And we've seen the Twilight Council finishing up on the top side in the main base, and the Dark Shrine is now currently on its way down. Dia shading that adept forwards up the ramp. Doesn't really get too far though. Well, as you do see, the starboard is about to finish up. Orbital Command is going to be finishing too, so very standard stuff here. Goes into that Cyclone, which is very good defensively. Reaper gets in. That's absolutely huge, because seeing a Dark Shrine is obviously incredible. That's really good information for this Reaper. Really great investment by Special in the end. I wonder if in a way Dia was a little bit lax about it, because he saw it was like a Marine first as well. I wonder if because he saw it was a Marine first, he was like, you know what, then I'm just gonna, no Reaper, I think I can get away with just building a Dark Shrine and punishing you for the lack of scouting. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know is that obviously your lack of scouting is absolutely not how it's meant to be. What's up, Kisu, coming in with the fresh subscription. Thank you so much. Appreciate the love, even though we're having some issues today. Glad you're still enjoying the stream. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. You know what I didn't do? I didn't bring my other pack of baubles inside. God, I'm an idiot. I have to run down to the car and get them at some point. It's we're definitely running out in here. I only have like 12 left or so. Okay, I've got like 24 left. Maybe we'll be okay. Need to remember to bring some upstairs though. Thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate it. So far, I mean, obviously, Special after scouting that Dark Shrine was putting Dia in a bit of an interesting spot, and Dia decided not to go for the DTs, cancels that, and started to blink. But obviously, it's a little bit of a later blink than what you might usually have. Sorry, guys. My delay is Stim Pack and +1 attack on the way through. Robobane and Forge, Blink as well. All of this getting set to go. So, yeah, just, I mean, Dia kind of transitioning out of that attempt to go into Dark Templar, but not exactly having the best of time with it at the moment. Stim +1's coming through then. I mean, Special just going into extra racks. That's 5 racks with no third base. So this style has taken a little bit more popularity in Korea as of late. Bunny was really using it a lot in the 2018's Left the Game playoffs, for example. And the style is to play this kind of 5 racks, 3 base all in. Oh, sorry, 2 base all in, where you just put on a huge amount of pressure. And obviously, if you do some good damage, you can then take a late third CC behind it. Say if you kind of cancel the third Nexus or so. There is a lot you can then do about that, so it's definitely got some potential. I like it. I like the setup so far. Just going to be seeing the few Stalkers and Sentries gathering up. Colossus on the way out. Scan drops into the natural expansion. The Colossus have also been taking a pretty good role in TVP as of late. They've been really kind of the popular choice, where I kind of feel like before this current patch, we've really seen a lot more just pure gateway builds. Pure gates, double upgrades, going towards the Immortals and Archons. Very different style coming out nowadays in this Protoss vs Terran. Colossus, almost every game. We're seeing some players playing with the new Disruptors again as well, so that is also something that's kind of getting mixed in there at times. So that's also pretty cool to see, as Crank is having a great time going between the natural and the main base. Alright, we do see the couple drops were headed around the right side. Has to be careful not to lose those. The one thing you want to make sure of with the 5 racks on 2 bases, you really need to keep up the pressure. Like, you need to start pressuring and you need to keep pressuring. So you just can't allow yourself to lose too many units. But he loses 1 medevac already, and having lost 1 medevac, that's going to be kind of painful. Crank pulls, sorry, not Crank. Dia pulls some of his units over to the left side. Now more of an army from Special moving up through the center of the map. Concussive Shells is about to finish up, so he's pretty much all set. He adds on a second starport in response to the Colossus and will add a later third CC here. But obviously still needs to deal some damage at some point, because at the moment, if you're just going to be kind of chilling with this sort of style, I mean, the Protoss is already saturated 3 bases. So if you don't do anything, you're just getting a very late third base for yourself. And again, what have you really achieved? You haven't killed any workers, you haven't exactly slowed the Protoss down from teching at all. You haven't killed off any of those tech units. you've really done nothing, honestly. So really, Special needs to find a little bit more here, but it might be tough as he does catch that Zealot at least. So we'll get that kill. Now the second starport finish in, Viking production will ramp up. He also added a Ghost Academy, which seems like a very weird thing to do at this stage of the game. Because we're kind of at a stage of the game where the Ghost Academy, you just can't afford Ghosts if you're also going to be cranking out 4 Vikings at a time. Like, no one's going to deny having a couple of Ghosts in the army is nice, but you have to prioritize. If this was Zealots and Charge Lots and Archons, just Charge Lots and Mortals and Archons, there's, you know, then fine, because the Ghosts are very good against those, and you don't have to build Vikings. But obviously this isn't that. You've built a second starport as well. As that SCV finishes the CC. So CC will be done here. Builds it into an orbital in the face of danger. I want to be a little bit careful about that, as we'll have to lift up and get this going. Special. Thinking about whether he wants to actually engage into this army here just yet. And here he goes, and Vikings on the right side getting some good damage. Ooh, I love that. The interference matrix on both the Prism and the Colossus. So one Colossus taken out of the fight, and the Prism also unable to micro the Colossus like you would usually be expecting to. That's really good. Sentry's force fields are good as well, though. Colossus goes down because another interference matrix on the War Prism. That is so sick. The interference matrix is so good because, again, stopping that Colossus from microing into the Prism is absolutely huge here. And you can see it now. As soon as he could lift up into the Prism, he did lift that Colossus up to keep it safe. And oh no, the Vikings are kiting in. They're going to get the Prism. Oh, well, the Colossus is unloaded, but Marines are stimming forwards initially. I guess there's still Vikings left, though, so he will get the Colossus Special with an outstanding set of plays. Wow. What an incredible set of plays that was. From the initial interference matrix usage through to the chasing of the Prism and the flanking it with the Vikings. What an incredible minute or so from Special. Fantastic. And this is why he is consistently at BlizzCon. This is why he's consistently making it out of BlizzCon groups. Wow. That was incredible. Okay, well now a couple of Ghosts and some Vikings on the way. We'll be seeing 4 High Templar currently being warped in as well. Storm upgrade coming through. A little bit of bio stimming in to push those Stalkers back. And they do blink out in towards the center of the map. So Stalkers blinking away there. Orbital Command is ready to lift up, drop back down into position. +2 attack, +2 armor, all of this getting set to go. As Dia will have upgrades in his favor here. So, for all the cool things that Special did in that last fight, there is still a lot for, there's still kind of a lot to be done at the moment for Special to kind of really take this under his own control. There's a little bit of biostims in, couple of Stalkers pushed away. He's just pulling the boys. I mean, in fairness, pulling the boys kind of makes a lot of sense right now as the Ghosts get saved. The EMP towards the Archons would be great, but he loses the medevac with that Ghost, and I think that Ghost had enough energy for an EMP. Special dodges that first storm, but more storms available. Vikings will probably have to just land here and try and help out, because he really needs everything he can get on the ground at the moment. A few units stimming forwards, they do bait out that storm, so worthwhile. Oh, but the next storm goes into the center of the army, and